Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GlideFast On-Air webinar. Thank you all for attending today and joining us this afternoon. I'm Janet Mesh. I'm the VP of Marketing at GlideFast Consulting, and I'll be moderating today's GlideFast On-Air webinar, Business Services Portal Implementation, the Lifetime Fitness Solution. Very excited to introduce you to Thais Pulliam. She's one of our ServiceNow architects here at GlideFast Consulting, led this project with the Lifetime Fitness team. They will also be joining us later in this conversation, specifically for the question and answers portion. So if you do have questions, we would love for you to submit those in our Q&A polling, and we will have some time towards the end of this conversation to get to those. So thank you all again for joining. Also, before I kind of get started, I think several of you may have attended Thais's presentation at Knowledge 2019 last year. She also presented on her portal work alongside Travis Toulson on our team. So we're really excited for her to be doing this again, showing what the solution she's provided to our clients, specifically Lifetime Fitness. So before we kind of kick things off, I would love to pass it to Bob DiNapoli on our team. He's Director of Sales for GlideFast, and he's just going to give us a little bit of detail on GlideFast services for everyone.
Thank you, Janet, and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm Bob DiNapoli. I served as the account representative. I worked directly with Thais and the Lifetime team, and I saw some of the great things they did firsthand. But I'd like to just give everybody a little overview of who GlideFast is as an organization, just to give everybody a better idea of who we are, right? So, GlideFast Consulting is a firm that is dedicated exclusively to ServiceNow. As an Elite ServiceNow Partner, our expert team of developers and architects have worked on both sides of the table, on the customer side and the consulting side. We're a pure play ServiceNow partner. We focus entirely on the ServiceNow platform, right? Some key differentiators: we were founded by ServiceNow architects. We have over 400 ServiceNow certifications between our 100 plus consultants. In 2019, we were named a Service Delivery Partner of the Year. We've also been recognized by Gartner as a top ServiceNow provider. We've completed over 540 projects as a consulting firm, and we've been able to maintain a 9.6 average customer satisfaction rating as well. And in 2018, we were named a top 3 partner in the Americas. So those are just some of the accolades we've gained throughout the years. And if you'd like to learn more and acquire about our services, please reach out on our website at www.glidefast.com, and you can contact us at info@glidefast.com. So thank you very much, and enjoy the presentation.
Thanks, Bob. All right, excellent. So before I kick it over to Thais, just wanted to share some exciting things we have planned for today, including our giveaway. So if you stay on until the end of the webinar, so definitely, staying down to maybe about the last 5 minutes, we will be picking a winner from all the attendees, and you will be entered to win a chance to get a $50 Visa gift card. So definitely stick around. Would love to get some questions in with everyone. So please do submit those, and stay tuned to the end after our Q&A, where we'll be announcing the giveaway winner. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Thais to start the presentation and tell us more about Lifetime Fitness and this successful project.
Thank you, Janet. Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join today. I am very excited to be kicking off this on-air series with GlideFast, and I really hope you all have a good time. So let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Thais Pulliam. For those who don't know me, I work in ServiceNow, in the ServiceNow space for 5 years now, and I am an architect. I dedicate my work specially to service portal implementations, and I use my front-end web development and user experience design background to create beautiful portals that incentivize user engagement. For the past year, I have been working with Lifetime Fitness and helping them completely revamp their knowledge-base-oriented service portal. Lifetime designs, builds, and operates high-end fitness centers across the United States and Canada. They have expanded the use of ServiceNow from IT to finance in early 2017 when they launched the business services team. From that, they began building the platform in March 2017 and went live initially in June of the same year. The Business Services portal contains about 300 internal and external knowledge base articles and multiple customized forms. When GlideFast started working with them, the usage of articles was very low, and most users could not easily find what they were looking for. This caused a gap on information availability, resulting in a way larger than necessary number of tickets and a lack of organization. With our help, Lifetime was able to launch an entirely updated portal where users from different departments can view their own information either on a global scope or segregated in a smaller portal dedicated to each department. When trying to find help, users get directed to different categories or subcategories that give them suggestions on articles or catalog items to help them efficiently get the help they need while maximizing ticket deflection and gaining customer trust in the tool. So let's dive in. Okay, so before coming up with a strategy of implementation for any project, we need to study our major pain points. And at Lifetime Fitness, it was not any different. Based on the initial conversations we had with them, I was able to outline the major areas that we needed improvement. Number one, Lifetime knowledge base categories were structured in a way that it was not compatible with the desired design they had in mind for the portal. A lot of the content was misplaced and needed to be reviewed. Number two, all of the articles used by Lifetime in their knowledge base consist of a PDF attachment that has an article content inside of it. This created a problem because it made users need to download the file every time they needed access to an article. Also, the knowledge article page in the portal looked empty with nothing but a PDF attachment to it. This made a confusing experience and quite annoying for the users. And finally, and I think perhaps most importantly, number three, their old portal was extremely raw in design, hard to use, and had a confusing positioning of content on the pages. So has anyone here ever experienced going to a website that just confuses you? It's so confusing that you just give up and you don't do what you were supposed to do in there. This type of problem is bigger than we realize because it draws users away from the whole purpose of a self-service portal. It clearly was imperative that we came up with a solution that was very appealing to their user base, something similar to the user experience that they were accustomed to on Lifetime's website and other portals, so that they would give the Business Services portal a chance and drive up usage of articles to prevent unnecessary tickets to be created. So our first step was designing a prototype that reflected their branding guidelines and focused on ease of use. See on the left side, their initial compensation department portal. And in the right, you can see the same portal after we went live with it a couple of weeks ago. Now, I want to take this time to talk about a few key points on what is happening in each one of these. So on the left, can you see the red flags that exist in this portal from a user experience perspective? I think it's pretty clear to everyone that out of the bat, we can see the alignment of the entire content. It's a little bit off. The title is flushed to the right of the screen, which causes confusion from a user experience perspective, resulting in the user not knowing where to look at first. We can also see the left side below the breadcrumbs. We have a floating question with no specific content explaining why that's in there. We have no colors or efforts put into making this page appealing or pretty to the user. And clearly, when facing a page like this, the user's first instinct is to turn away from it, pick up the phone, and just call help desk to flood them with even more requests. Okay, so now let's shift our focus a little bit into the right side of the slide. I want to break down some of the things that make this user-friendly, okay? So first, we have the title of the page screaming right at our faces. Lifetime's business service portal is divided within 8 subportals for different departments. That means that when accessing a subportal such as compensation, like in the example that we have here, one of the examples that it's going through, we need to make sure that we know exactly where we are at from a global portal perspective. We use the branding, they're actually the font family from their branding and a sleek spacing of the fonts to convey the message and clearly signal to the user the current page we are in. One thing I want to highlight is also our choice of subheading in the page to add a touch of branding and welcoming feeling to the user. This acts as a distinction so that when accessing different subportals, I know I am in a different domain, even though I am still within business services scope as a user. Now let's notice the use of imagery as a background. we selected different images for each one of the subportals, which also helps guide the user to a sense of categorization and locating themselves within a business services portal. All images that we are using here are correlated to the company's mission and branding, which gives a sense of familiarity to the portal, something that you want to use. The search is easily accessed from any page within this portal. We moved it to the same row as the breadcrumbs, which is an expected location for it. We created a main menu widget as well. Using color code with colors that are brand approved, the main 4 boxes guides that you see in there, the user to select a top level of knowledge category and a subcategory topic. So they can choose if they want to go on the subcategories or the categories. Depending on their selection, they will be taken to a different page. And that is clear since the links underlined, when you're hovering them, the links get underlined. The same menu is available on all the pages of the portal. So the user really has kind of a remote control kind of feeling where they know where to go back and forth between pages. And all of the content in this page is clearly labeled and contained within a specific area. So that makes it easy for the eyes to know where to click and where to go depending on the desired outcome. Okay, so step 2 for us. One of the main, we tackled user experience, the design, and our step 2, this was very important to this project. One of the main challenges that we had dealing with this was the fact that Lifetime's entire knowledge base consists of PDF articles. And they need to remain this way since they follow standard branding for distribution within their company. In ServiceNow, as many of you might know, the articles are created as HTML or rich text. When that is followed, the article displays on the page properly with all of its content. But in the case that your article is in a file, you pretty much have 2 options only. One of them is to attach the file to your article, and the second one is to rewrite the whole article in HTML format. Now, the second option was completely out of the question, considering we're talking about at least 300 articles in here. So initially, what Lifetime did was she used the attachment options in ServiceNow, which might sound pretty decent until you realize that what happens in the portal when you attach a file to an article is that the article shows as a link to the attachment, but that must also be clicked and downloaded in order to be viewed. Now, top that with the fact that the entire content of the file itself, it's inside the PDF, and absolutely nothing else was showing up on the actual page in the actual body of the HTML. And now you have the user going to a page that for one is blank and has a tiny link for a download. So that doesn't really help. Okay, so some people might ask me about what about the attachment link functionality in ServiceNow? This is, for those who don't know, it's a checkbox that can be used on articles so that when accessing them on the portal, it would take you straight to downloading the file instead of opening a page, viewing it on a browser rendering or a new tab. And yes, it was what Lifetime was using for quite a while, but the issue on this approach is that it takes you out of the portal. Now you either still have to download the file, or then when you're opening a new tab, there is no links whatsoever to navigate back to where you were. And that, in general, folks, is just as bad of a user experience. So all that to say that we weren't really happy with any of the out-of-the-box options we had for this issue. So to solve this in a classier way, we developed a PDF rendering widget and replaced the old portal knowledge page with a new one that had a widget in it. What that does, as you can see in the slide, is a rendering of the PDF file or files right on the portal page. This was huge because now we have the users accessing the article in a portal page that has a pretty robust breadcrumbs. We still have the rating and comment functionality, the links back to other pages, and we can see the entire content of the article right there. Pretty cool, huh? And talking about breadcrumbs, as a bonus, this was also one of the main focus of this implementation. Considering we're talking about 8 subportals inside of a business services portal that is a child to a global central portal, we definitely needed to make sure that the user had an easy way back and forth between pages. So all the pages had a lot of work put into them on developing the breadcrumbs to give the users a robust path from top to bottom. Finally, this was the third point that we had to tackle, a proper structurization of the knowledge base categories. That was crucial to our implementation. See, the way that we built this portal is that you have two levels of categories to access. So if you are on the P&L subportal, for example, you have the option to choose between 4 top-level categories. When clicked, those take you to a secondary page where you can see all of the sub-level categories within the chosen one, as well as related related catalog items to the same category. So now we're solving 2 problems in one in here, because while our users can go to, let's say, questions and P&L category and see all of the subcategories in there, they can also, right on the same page, see related forms such as request P&L request. And let's not forget that all this is happening, they still have access to the quick search from any page in case they do know specifically what they're looking for. But let's say in case they don't quite know where to find what they're looking for, but they have a notion of where it should be, this creates a framework where it's so easy to find help because everything is categorized in a proper manner, and it's just so easy to use a website. It's just so easy to use any website when it's intuitive. And what we did here, that's exactly what we were striving for. And I think that gave us a good overview of what we did for Lifetime. While this was just a quick overview of the key components of what we implemented for them, I think we were able to highlight some of the shining star pieces that really made a difference for us in our portal implementation. We helped Lifetime lead the way in portal functionality by using a learning plan layout with improved searchability. That, on top of improving their service catalog forms, which was also a big part of this, to reduce ticket volume. Since our launch, they are up at least 50% in clicks of articles, and we are averaging almost 5,000 clicks per month, where last year we could only track about 17,000 clicks in the entire year of 2019. So it's really simple math, folks. If your users are getting answers from the knowledge base via self-service, they will not be putting in a request that should have not been there in the first place, for numerous reasons, but mainly the repetition of the same question over and over again. And when I mentioned we implemented for Lifetime, I should actually correct that and say with Lifetime, since the engagement of the stakeholders in any project is so important, and they were definitely involved in the decision-making, making themselves available, and truly engaged with our team so we could reach a bigger goal together. So I just want to cover a few takeaways of our presentation today that could help you out when implementing your own portals or your solution within ServiceNow. First, please, 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 this is so important. Take the time to invest in your user experience. I have met so many people that don't realize the importance of this, especially in a cloud-based tool, until they see the difference that it makes in user engagement and how that affects your data. It's not just about the pretty colors, but believe me, those pretty colors will pay off. Second, know your pain points. You cannot tackle any problem in life at all if you don't know who you're fighting against. If you're not able to clearly outline where your pain points are, but just know that you are not where you want to be, ask for help. Sometimes it's not as easy to understand where your problem is coming from. And with some guidance, you can come up with the specific list of issues that you need to tackle. Third, make yourself available. Make your team available. If you want to succeed in any implementation, you must be engaged. The faster you give your developers and consultants the materials they need to succeed, the quicker the project will see the light of day. And fourth, if you don't quite know how to fit or develop ServiceNow solutions to your company needs, talk to a partner. We are here to help and have tons of experience in the field to know just what could be right for you. And that said, I want to move into the next slide. I want to call 2 of my dear customers, Elsa Donnelly and Jessica Spates, who I had the pleasure of working with throughout this project. Elsa and Jessica helped out with design decisions, made themselves available to give feedback on my architecture suggestions, and provided all materials needed to this project in a timely manner. All I did was really put their ideas to work. So I want to thank them for the opportunity, and let's actually let them say a quick hi, since this is a chat after all. So Elsa, are you on the call?
Yep, I'm here. Hi everybody, I'm Elsa Donnelly. I'm the Senior Manager over Lifetime's Business Services team. And we loved working with Thais and team. It was an excellent experience. And we're very happy to share our experience with all of you today.
Thank you, Elsa. Jessica, do you want to say a few words?
Thank you, Thais. My name is Jessica Spates. I am the technical lead for Lifetime Business Services. I've been with Elsa since we started this team. And I want to say that Thais and Bob were fantastic to work with the whole way through. They took all of our ideas and really made them work within the portal. Whenever we had a problem, they came up with a solution, and it was a really great experience. So thank you for all that you did.
Thank you. That's so nice to hear.
Awesome. Excellent. This is Janet back here. I since we have everyone, Thais, I was thinking we could look through the questions and we can send those over to you, Elsa and Jessica, and see if anyone attending has any questions about what you all did while working together for the portal. So we'll let everyone take a couple minutes maybe to ask some questions in our Q&A, and we can have a little bit of a live conversation, if that sounds good. So we do have a question that came in, Thais. Jeffrey here said that it seems like the background picture of the carousels around seems to take up a lot of the page. So I think maybe we pan back to one of the slides there. Maybe we can, and just want to know if that was something that was standard in the design, and maybe if you guys want to kind of talk through the decision making of the background pictures that you selected.
Right. Actually, I don't know what you mean by standard. I don't know if you're talking about ServiceNow. So out of the box, usually it's not as much as that. But we definitely went for something that as soon as you land on the page, since it's supposed to be a sub-portal and not just a page, we wanted to give a feeling that this is a home page. So you are arriving there and you have this big picture with a button that says intro. And that button will take you to a video page where you can just learn how to use that sub-portal. So we really went for that kind of feeling that really just gives the user, okay, here I am. And then they can scroll down and see items. That was definitely the intention that we were going for. And it's pretty standard for that. When you're trying to give a feeling of homepage, that's definitely a good look.
We actually had like several questions rolling in. Thanks everyone for submitting them. Definitely keep them coming. We love this.
I do see that the same person asked if this is best practice. So here's the thing. Best practice from a user experience perspective. I mean, you can do anything you want, right? If you're trying to make a homepage, so at the same time, I'm trying to give an example. For example, if you go in the IT service portal, which is just, it's something that a lot of companies have, right? This is a little bit of a different portal that we worked on in here. Usually you would have a bigger image, which is something that is definitely used if you're trying to give that homepage feeling. So yes, from a user experience perspective, that would be a best practice. From ServiceNow perspective, it really won't affect anything. So it's not either a best practice or not a best practice. It's definitely something that can be done without affecting anything in the system or causing any issues at all. So it's upgrade proof, it's not gonna cause any problems. So it really depends on what you're trying to go for. So if you have a home page, I would definitely suggest doing that. And also to top that with the image that you saw in there, it was not actually a carousel, it was a carousel for our presentation. So the actual portal has just a flat image that it's pretty much still the whole time. Okay, we have a few more questions. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it seems like Thais, a lot of people are very curious
a lot
about
of questions.
The PDF widget. So do you want to take this
see.
one of these here? And of course, like Elsa and Jessica, if you want to add some color too, but there's one from Kevin. He said for the PDF widget, did you also have to customize other widgets to get it to display in lieu of the normal widget? Does it work more on click of the link, or does it display right away? So maybe if you wanted to give a little bit more detail on the PDF, because a lot of people here are interested in this functionality on the portal.
Yeah, so Kevin, that widget, I did have to customize other widgets. And when I say that, one good tip is don't ever customize something out of the box. Most of the time, ServiceNow won't really even let you do that. So you have to clone anyways a widget. So what I did is I created a new widget that has a wrapping that is similar to the out-of-the-box one. So But then I pretty much created a new code that renders a PDF instead of the HTML, because for this specific case scenario, they only have HTML. Sometimes they have some text. They only have PDF, and sometimes they have some text in HTML. So what we did is that we customized, we coded a new widget, and then we put that in place in a new page. So we're not even using the out-of-the-box page. We created a new one to just keep everything out of the box untouched. And then in there, we have the PDF rendering inside, right on the page, so you don't have to click to download it. And then it's a viewer pretty much, so you can scroll down and up, and you can see the entire PDF right there on the screen. And then you can also see if there's anything additional to the article itself, maybe there is a text or something else, you can view there too. And it shows all the attachments. So if they have more than one PDF attached or something like that, they can view everything there.
Great. And then Thais, I think a nice follow-up from Kim here is, was the PDF render available on the ServiceNow share site?
Let me see. Sorry, what's the question?
It was asking if it was
a PDF
available.
render. No, it is not right now. Maybe that's something that we could do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Widgets and parts of it. Oh, so yeah, I have a question from David. And since you created David Nottingham, and since you created your own widget and parts, you ensure upgradability, correct? Correct. So we make sure that we followed all best practices to make sure that this was something that they wouldn't have problems in the future. And we made sure to keep all the out-of-the-box things untouched in there so they can receive upgrades from ServiceNow. And then if the future there is new functionality that we can use. Because, you know, folks, a lot of times we have to find ways like this to really work with you and in your needs. But ServiceNow is also releasing a lot of things. And one of the things we actually had in this project, when we started this project, ServiceNow didn't have yet the multi-row variables, for example. And we had to come up with a solution for that, which is something that they definitely needed. And once they did launch that in ServiceNow, we were like, okay, so let's now move to the ServiceNow functionality, because that's just going to make it be easier for you in the future to, you know, upgrade and everything. So that's something that it's always good to keep. When you have to upgrade, you need to make sure that you're making something that is upgrade proof, but at the same time, you always need to go back and review what you did and see if there is ways you can improve that, because you can always be able to improve something. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
Great, thanks, Thais. I really like this question that just came in, and was thinking maybe even Elsa and Jessica could jump in if they have any feedback for it too. So the question is, can you provide any lessons learned or takeaways on user adoption, such as driving users to the new portal?
Can you? Oh, here, I see it as well.
Yeah, they're interested in like what some user adoption
like
takeaways, and you know, what you're now seeing with the portal being live, and maybe some of the, I think you touched on this in the presentation, Thais, but it'd be great to dive a little deeper into some of these user adoption solutions.
Mm-hmm. First, I want to say that we had a really fun cake when this was launched. And I think that definitely helped market within the company that we had something live going on. So that was really fun. We had a really nice, cute cake with lifetime dumbbells and all that stuff. But I would definitely like to bring Elsa and Jessica in for this question and ask them if there's anything else additionally that you guys are taking within the company to help the users, and have you heard any feedback from them, or is there anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, this is Elsa. We like to make sure and communicate out to our end users anytime that we make large updates to the portal, and so we've definitely done that. We've made sure to reach out to specific groups within the company regarding certain content. We've sat down with the different user groups within the finance teams and let them all know what the new content is, so that they can make sure and share it anytime that they're answering tickets. As far as lessons learned, you know, if we were to implement a different portal, or, you know, help with other departments as they implement, you know, sub-portals of our platform. I think that, you know, really utilizing the ideas and the structure that Thais put into play for us would be very helpful. You know, when we first designed, we didn't think through, you know, you can't think of everything, right? And so thinking through, you know, really that self-guided user approach that Thais helped us do, I think that that's something that we would for sure implement across the board if we were to do another portal from scratch. I don't know, Jess, did you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, so I think that we to use the portal, we also want to, I'm going to bring up that when we started this, and especially now that we have it so well developed with GlideFast, we have communicated with those that are resolvers really strongly of, if someone comes to in your email, we always push them to the portal, or we'll forward that email to the portal and answer through that way. So we always do that, and then we include links to the knowledge documentation constantly. So using those templates to respond, pushing them to that, and then also providing, we also looked at learning styles as much as possible, and looking into how today's workforce learning, and how can we make our content work for people's learning styles to give them what they need in a shorter period of time, but so that they can always feel like they can come back and find that answer. And so we've been trying to push up our video content and things. And we also used, I wish that we could have shown the forms a little bit here, because our forms are really great that Thais built for us, because it also pushes back to our knowledge content. If they're asking a question in a section that it has, that really they don't need to be submitting a ticket to, it'll actually stop them and say, hey, actually, if you're a corporate user, you can find this information, click here and be directed to that knowledge content. Even our own boss one day, but he thought he forgot he had access to do something. You know, you do something and you forget about it. And he went on to submit and said, hey, I need to do this. And it said, hey, actually, you can do this. And he was like, hey, this was great. I forgot that I could do that. So we could see it even in those that we work with on a regular basis. Even though we kind of were given all this information constantly, everything we do, it just kind of works together to push them back out to that knowledge. And so everything is always focused on getting them back out to that knowledge so that they can get on and do their work quickly and efficiently.
Excellent.
That's
Thank you so
awesome
much.
to hear.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that story. That's cool. Yeah, the forms are great. We definitely, we didn't include them at this time, but that was definitely a fun part, a big part of the project. And I would say the breadcrumbs and the searching functionality too. And I think, actually, I can talk a little bit more of that. I see that we have a question here from Adam Robinson. Since ServiceNow has improved to where coding isn't always necessary, how much coding, such as JavaScript, is necessary to make the lifetime fitness redesign? So that's an interesting question, because we did try to use some of the things out of the box. But when we're working with something, for example, as this, lifetime, we wanted to really focus on the user experience and making this very particular to their branding. So we definitely used some heavy coding here. Everything, you know, upgrade proof and with best practices involved. But we had, and that's kind of tidying up to what I was starting to talk about, we had a lot of work done on their search functionality. So because we have different portals and different pages and each page looks different. So if they're accessing a portal on HR, they're taking to a different knowledge base page, it looks a little different than other pages on their different portals, which, for example, this one, business services. So we had to do a lot of coding in their search functionality, for example, to redirect them to the right places. And also have the breadcrumbs working properly, because ServiceNow gives you a baseline of breadcrumbs, but you definitely have to add on if you have, you know, your own kind of structure. And the architecture of this portal was built a little different than, you know, just here and there. We have a lot of layers of pages. So you can access the category, and then you can access the subcategory, and then you can access the for example, the knowledge base article. And because you clicked in 4 different pages to get there, then we want to store that information and send that via, coding, so you can access and click back to each one of those pages on the breadcrumbs, so you don't have to just go back to the home page and you don't remember where you were. And we did the same thing, for example, for the form. So if they're accessing the form from the home page, or let's say they access the form from the subcategory, because we have those pages. This portal is really different than anything that ServiceNow provides in terms of how the architecture is placed of things. So if you are accessing a form from a subcategory page, for example, we call it a topic page. You have here in the topic page the knowledge articles that you can access and the forms related to this. So now if you access a form, you want to have the breadcrumb telling you where you access the form from, because if you're like, oh, this is not really the form and I want to go back to that page, then now I can access those breadcrumbs and come back. So I would say we had a good amount of coding involved in here. But that said, yes, ServiceNow has improved a lot, and there is tons of things that you can do if you want to have something more out of the box, and if your process is more simple, if you're maybe starting with your full IT service portal, something that, it's a little more out of the box, then you can definitely make use of that functionality. It really depends on, it goes back to the slide that I had of your pain points, right? You first have to figure out what your pain points are, and then from there, you can decide, okay, can I be okay with something more basic, or do I have to have something a little more robust?
Excellent. Thank you all. That was great.
Mhm.
So we had a couple other questions, but it seems like we honestly did answer a lot of with your responses. So unless Thais, do you want to answer one more and then we can announce the giveaway winner?
Yes, let's see.
I'm not sure if there's anything like you've actually there's maybe just the final one could be, I think someone was curious how long this project took to come up with the portal to build the portals. Maybe that could be the final one.
I think, it's been about a year project because we had about 8 subportals in here. We had the parent portal. So I think we took, was it a year, Elsa and Jessica? I think that's about a year, right? So we took on this. The initial prototypes, that was pretty quick. So we started with the prototypes and the wireframing, then we had the initial portal, and then just really making it better and better. We had 2 or 3 phases of this. So I think the entire process is about a year.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, with that, we're gonna close out the Q&A section of our webinar, and really appreciate everyone who submitted questions. If we didn't get to you specifically, of course, you can reach out to us and Thais, and we can definitely provide answers to those afterwards. You can find us online, GlideFast.com, and on social media, specifically LinkedIn. So I'm going to shift it over now to announce our giveaway winner. And the team at the end pulled the name out of the virtual hat, and we would like to congratulate Tracy Talman as the winner of the $50 Visa gift card today. So congratulations, Tracy. We will be following up with you via email to give you the details to claim your prize. And thank you for joining. And thank you everyone who joined today. Really appreciate it. No worries though, of course, if you didn't win today's giveaway, you will be entered today to our grand prize giveaway. So for every on-air session that you do attend, will be an entry to our grand prize giveaway. We also have a couple other webinars happening with our sister company Faircode, and also for GlideFast all the way until June. So very exciting, tons of opportunities to learn more from our ServiceNow experts. And of course, I want to say a big thank you to Thais for an amazing presentation, and Elsa and Jessica from Lifetime Fitness. Thank you so much for joining us, and everyone else who attended today. If you want to give some final words, Thais, feel free to jump in now before we close out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time to join us today. It was really fun. I really liked answering your questions, and if you, as Janet said, if you have any additional questions, please reach out to us. We are literally everywhere, YouTube, LinkedIn. So we will definitely get back to you. Yeah, and this was really fun. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Elsa and Jessica. It was so nice having you on this session. And yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone. And as we've mentioned, you can reach out to us on our website, GlideFast.com. Check out more webinar sessions that are happening now through June for GlideFast On Air. You can tweet us, message us on LinkedIn, reach out to us online, and we'd be happy to continue the conversation.